Yeah. Okay. Hello, I'm Alex. This is my older assistant Vanessa, and today I'm going to teach her how to make a protein shake. What we're going to do is start by measuring out a cup of orange juice. You can measure that out for me, please. And next we are going to add our protein. And add that. What we're going to do is add the flax. And we want that for it's good fat, so it'll keep you nice and full when you have your shake, so that you're not in the market for a snack.
And how much is this right?
Two. We're going to add 2 handfuls of greens. I chose spinach because I like the taste. Perfect. And now, if you could be so kind as to add a cup of frozen fruit. Now you want to put the lid on, please. Excellent. And hit. One of the most important steps is you want a good container to transport your smoothie with you in the morning. Can you get one in there for me, please? And do you see why that's a good container? Because it has nice and deep, so there's not going to be any spilling off the sides. And you also have it covered, so if you're in a rush, you can run out to the car and not risk spilling it. There you go. Got all your goodies out. And now you have a delicious shake for the morning.
Thank you.
Well, this is Alex Dwyer, and this is my video redesign on making. These are my 2 students for the protein shake, Vanessa and Jason. I want to pose a question to you guys. Why do you feel that you need to have protein shakes in your life? How would that information benefit you, Vanessa?
Because of my crazy work schedule, it will help with meal replacement.
Jason, knowing how to make a protein shake, how would you use that information in your daily life? What time of day would you make your protein shake, and when would you consume your protein shake?
A fast, healthy meal before I go to work.
And when would you make the shake?
Before I go to work.
The ingredients in our shake are going to be protein, which we're going to use for fuel, flax, which we're going to use to help fill us up, orange juice to cut the mixture so that it's drinkable, greens for fiber, and fruit for taste. And our steps for making the shake: we'll first add powder, then add liquids, then add solids, and then mix. As in keeping with our steps to making a shake, we're going to add our powders, which we're going to do a scoop of protein, and 1 for Jason, 1 for Vanessa, and then we are going to do a scoop of flax. Again, 1 for Jason, and 1 for Vanessa. Okay, Vanessa, we have our 2 powders in there, and what 2 powders are those?
The protein for fuel and flax powder to help fill you up.
Fantastic, thank you. And now could you add a handful of greens? And what is our greens in there for? Do you remember?
For fiber.
Alright, Jason, now could you add the greens to your shake, much like Vanessa did? Alright, Jason, could you our next step is putting orange juice in our blender. And do you know why we're putting the orange juice in the blender?
The orange juice is going to cut the mixture down.
Perfect, thank you. And could you add a splash of orange juice, Vanessa? Now, could you add orange juice to your shake, much like Jason added to his? Just a splash. Alright, and our next step is adding fruit to make our protein shake taste the way we like. Jason, what are you adding in your, what fruits are you adding to your protein shake?
I'm adding delicious seasonal bananas.
Awesome.
For
Anything
potassium,
else?
and apples for taste.
Fantastic. And Vanessa, what fruit did you choose?
I chose bananas for potassium as well, and some blueberries because I like the way they taste.
Alright, so now that we have all our ingredients, the powders, the liquids, and the solids, we are going to blend our shakes. Blend away. And there we have our shakes in cups, ready to be drank. Alright, you guys did a good job making your protein shakes. I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page in terms of the main functions of making protein shake. Vanessa, could you tell me what ingredients we used in the protein shake and what each ingredient's role was in the protein shake?
Sure, we used protein powder for fuel, flax for to help fill you up, and orange juice to help it so it liquefies it so you can drink it. Greens for fiber, and fruit for taste.
Fantastic. And Jason, do you remember the steps to making a shake?
Yeah, add powder, liquids, and then add solids, then mix.
Perfect, perfect. And now that you know how easy it is to make a protein shake, do you still think you'll use it during the times of day, make them and use them during the times of day that you mentioned earlier, Vanessa?
Absolutely.
Cool. So you would use yours make yours
The night before, and then take it with me in the morning as I go to work.
Okay, awesome. And then Jason, you were going to make yours before work, correct?
Yeah, I can make this before work and then drink it on the way to work.
Fantastic. All right. How I feel about the original orientation video, now that I've taken 516, is that I feel better equipped to assess myself after the fact. I feel that knowing these theories, whereas before I wasn't aware of them, helps me structure how I'm going to approach things, knowing specifically what I'm working with and what theories have components that go well with other ideas that I have. And also, as I mentioned before, it helps with assessment because I can use those theories as a template to go back and check myself to see how well I did. And then I believe the theories that I chose were effective in the reteach, particularly in how they had built bonds between both the two students and the student and the teacher. I think that knowing that students interacting with each other's work and observing each other's work was a large component of how I approached this lesson. I think that was very helpful for me, knowing going in that was a weapon I had in my lesson plan arsenal. The changes that I would make to this lesson, now that I've retaught it once, is I would have liked to built in more in the protein shake discussion where I spoke with the two students about what they wanted out of the protein shake, and how they would apply the process to their lives, and also the debrief afterwards, where we talked about, we sort of summarized what we'd spoken out about with the discussion prior. I think it would have been beneficial to just sort of, I had questions going into the debrief and the pre-discussion. I think it would have been better just to have an open discussion sort of throughout the idea of protein shakes, see what students know about them, and their own experiences with them before we talk about what the specifics of how they would apply that particular protein shake recipe to their lives. So I think when I teach protein shakes in the future, I will not have a time limit and sort of discuss protein shakes open-endedly, and then use that discussion to summarize and have the summary also be fairly open-ended. Other than that, I think I did an amazing job.